Have not talked about much this summer, but as we reach peak season, I think there's going to be some action that's worth watching. At this moment, we have a couple waves coming in from the coast or off the coast of the Africa there. This is over the Cabo Verde Islands, and they're pressing westward. We'll continue to see exactly what happens to these kind of raggedy storms. I don't see much of progress being made as they make their way farther to the west. In fact, they'll run into some wind shear, but it's this little system right here that is worth keeping our eyes on, not for U.S. impacts, but potentially for maybe even upgrade it to a tropical depression, maybe even a tropical storm. Let's take a look at where the models are taking it here. You can see this area of low pressure right here. This is near and around Bermuda there. It won't be an impact to the island. However, areas like Nova Scotia up here near the Canadian Maritime could get a lashing of some storm activity there. We'll see there's some optimistic forecasting suggesting that it could be closed off and the winds could kick up just high enough for it to be once again a tropical depression or at worst a tropical storm. But nonetheless, it's more of a maritime system that's going to stay far away from land but could provide some showers once again for the Canadian Maritime. However, for that little wave that's just rolled off the coast of Africa here, it may survive through midweek, but as we get closer to the weekend, it becomes an open wave as it nears the Lesser Antilles. Nonetheless, it is that time of the year to be watching the tropics very closely. At this point, we are running behind in terms of the schedule where we should be for this time of the year. We should have already be at our E and F names. Nonetheless, the next name coming up is Dolly. We'll see what happens and what will likely occur as we get closer to the month of September. We'll have more updates in your forecast tonight at 10.
All right, Jonathan, thanks. The Trump administration has raised the bar in its war on Iran's economy, referring to it as, quote, economic D-Day. The Treasury Department announced new sanctions against Iran today aimed at severing all its ties, its business ties with other countries. It's part of what they're calling Operation Economic Outcast. The new sanctions target 5 of Iran's most important lifelines in other countries: digital assets, technology, gold, aviation, and shipping. Plus, companies and governments still doing business with the regime are on notice.
Every country has a defined timeline to shut down activities we have identified. If they do not take action, we will do so unilaterally through Treasury authorities.
Some Middle East analysts warn economic pressure likely will not be enough to topple the regime, and it will take a return to some form of military action.
The U.S.-Canada trade war has escalated. Canada will now announce retaliatory tariffs against the U.S. Both countries are at a standoff after Ottawa pulled out of trade talks late Friday. It accuses Washington of making last-minute demands. U.S. tariffs on all Canadian cars and trucks will increase to 50% on January 1st. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney claims the U.S. wanted to restrict Canada's ability to negotiate trade agreements with other countries.
We cannot accept what they've offered, and we will not give what they've asked.
We've taken countermeasures. Our interest is in protecting American workers and protecting American supply chains. They've always had the best deal, and they still would have an even better deal, but they didn't want that.
The U.S. Trade Representative says no new talks are planned with the Canadians, but insists it was not the U.S. that made last-minute demands.
The Trump administration is touting its success in restoring the power of education to the states. President Trump hosted students and parents in the White House Rose Garden today. The event celebrated the back-to-school season and his administration's efforts to dismantle the education department. The president highlighted his efforts to restore school choice and parental rights in child development, an effort being pushed with the help of a new federal tax credit included under President Trump's tax and spending bill. It allows up to $1,700 in contributions to nonprofits that award scholarships for education-related services.
We want every parent to have the power to send their child to a high-quality school that shares their values. It's so important.
Our critics warn this could gut public school funding in favor of private schools. That's an issue the Trump administration has dismissed. And today, the Trump administration also announced new funding to improve nutrition at schools, with roughly $70 million proposed to upgrade school cafeterias. The USDA has also proposed more funding for farm-to-school grants to feed kids with locally grown produce.
For the first time in months, we saw Michael Penix Jr. fully cleared in practice. We'll have the latest from Flowery Branch next in Fox 5 Sports.
And tonight on The Pulse, a new survey finds a majority of us are spending our entire workday inside. Do you get to go outside during an in-office workday? You can join the conversation now by scanning the QR code there on your screen.
Falcons. Now, of course, this opens up a flurry of questions for head coach Kevin Stefanski, like, is Penix officially cleared? Will we see him Friday in the Falcons' final preseason game? Who's the starter? Or Lexi Bowden is in Flowery Branch trying to help you answer all those questions.
It's a big step for Mike, and he's excited for it.
Well, the day we talked about all training camp is finally here. Michael Penix Jr. officially gets the green light after tearing his ACL 9 months ago. Penix participating in 11-on-11 drills for the first time this summer.
11-on-11 is the closest approximation to football, and those preseason games are games, and they're keeping score and those type of things. So certainly 11-on-11 is the closest thing to what we do in the fall.
Both Penix and Tua Tagovailoa getting reps with the first-string offense on Monday. The group a full go with the 2s and 3s taking it easier after their performance against the Colts on Saturday. Penix taking most of the snaps, making a great case for himself.
He was excited for sure, and it was really good to see him back out there going full 11-on-11, going full speed. He had a little scramble today, which was cool to see. You haven't really got to see that, so it's exciting seeing your teammates doing what they love to do. You can tell he loves the game of football, so it's really cool to have him back out here.
The quarterback situation not clearer than it has been. Stefanski still vague when asked if the competition now truly begins with both QBs at full strength.
You're competing every single day. We do compete periods in practice. You're competing against yourself. That alarm clock goes off and you're in a competition. Everything we do around this building is competing. So I know it's easy to say position battles and those type of things, but we're constantly competing, and that's not the focus for our guys. Our guys are pushing each other by showing up and putting in the work.
Quarterback Jack Strand also gave an impressive performance against the Colts Saturday. However, Stefanski said he would be working with the 2s and 3s from now on. There's still no word on who gets the start against the Dolphins, but the starters will play in Friday's preseason finale, so fans should expect to see both Penix and Tagovailoa on the field. In Flowery Branch, Lexi Bowden, Fox 5 Sports.
Thanks, Lexi. And don't look now, but Atlanta United have won 3 in a row. The team who sat at the bottom of the Eastern Conference have revived themselves in just 1 week span, claiming 9 points in 3 2-1 wins in just 8 days. And the news for them really gets even better because it involves this guy right here. The team last night officially welcoming in their new striker, Breel Embolo, at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. The Swiss striker is Atlanta United's 3rd designated player coming by way of Europe for a reported transfer fee of near $18 million. The first time we get to hear from him will be tomorrow at the training grounds, and we'll be sure to have coverage for that for you tomorrow afternoon.
I think for the fans, it would, it's recovering the optimism and to be with us as a team. I think it's, it would put us in the race for the play-in. But I said, after we won 2 games that we can't get carried away. It's 2 games, so I'm going to say the same now.
And late last night, 2 of the best teams in the MLB faced off in Williamsport, Pennsylvania for the Little League Classic, a really fun, cool event for both squads. Money Mike went deep in the 9th there, and then this phenomenal double play you'll see in a second by Mauricio Dubon and Matt Olson clinched the 4-2 win for the Braves. The Braves now 3 games ahead of the Phillies in the NL East race. They're off tonight, but back at home Tuesday for a pretty big series this upcoming week. They host a little ball club out west called the LA Dodgers for a 3-game set here at Truist Park.
That'd be a good test.
Yeah. That'll be fun. Imagine you get the Brewers and the Dodgers, 2 of the best teams really in baseball record-wise. So that'll be a fun one. And a lot of teams winning this week for Atlanta. We saw the Falcons' big win, Atlanta United's winning. So always fun when you get wins.
Let's just keep it that way, right?
Right.
We always feel like, okay, what's going to happen now? Everything's going so well.
Yeah.
Keep it that way.
The relief on social media with the Falcons win really was it was human.
Who's going to be QB1?
Good stuff. There you go. Thanks for being with us tonight.
We'll see you back here at 10.
Christine Spiro.
Hey everybody, I'm Tom Haynes, joined by Ariel Onstott and Tyler Fingert. You know, every night at 7 o'clock we go beyond the headlines, take a look at some of the stories that have you talking. Tonight, your MacBook might soon reply to your texts for you.
Oh boy.
How's that for creepy AI? It's always good to get fresh air, but when